Hey, I'm Veronica Harris, host of the Veronica Harris Show, and I have with me today.
Vanessa Harris.
Okay, and
Known as, you got a nickname?
Different.
And it's big little brother, aka world's fittest man, aka often injured, Gregory Harris.
and today we actually have a returning guest, the lovely and the talented Miss Emma Ward. And last time she was here, she taught us the fundamentals of reading. How important it was to learn how to read. And today she's actually going to tell us about how we actually learn to read. Do you know how you learn to read?
I don't know how I learned to read, but I know today we gotta instill those fundamentals because it seems like those things are eroding as time goes on.
Do you know how you learned how to read?
My grandma and my parents taught me.
All
And
right.
I really enjoyed it as a young child and still now.
All right, well, hopefully you all stay tuned so we can learn more about how we all learned how to read from Miss Emma Ward.
Stay tuned.
Hi, and welcome to the Veronica Harris Show. I'm your host, Veronica Harris, and today I have with me two co-hosts. I have my niece. Who you again?
Vanessa Harris.
And who's your daddy?
Gregory Harris.
And guess who we have here? Gregory Harris, regular co-host, aka Big Little Brother.
Something like a co-goat guest today. I'm on this side of the table.
And we also have your co-guest is Miss Emma P. Ward. How are you?
I'm fine.
And
How
you're
are
a
you today?
returning guest. I think you're our first returning guest.
Oh, great.
Yes. So what have you been up to lately?
Been doing a lot of things in the community. There's so many things in the community that need to be done.
Well, first of all, last time you were here, we talked about reading and how it's fundamental and the importance of it. And I will be happy to inform you that one of your tutees from years ago, my niece, your niece too, Tania, she now is in freshman in high school, and she now has all AP classes.
Beautiful.
And I definitely attribute that to the early work that she did with you in terms of her reading skills and learning some words that we're going to talk about later. I'm going to let Vanessa address that. But Gregory, you always have something to say.
First of all, you didn't introduce it right. It's the beautiful Miss Emma Ward, Mrs. DC, going on. You don't mind me mentioning it doesn't look it. A beautiful 75 years. I just aspire to still be magnificent when I get that old. But you know what everybody's telling me? As I get older, I'm only 41. They keep telling me to give up what I'm doing, stop doing what I'm doing. I'm too old.
Oh.
If someone was to say that to you, what would you tell them?
Oh, I would say you need to rethink that.
They got it twisted. Talking about me too old. That's one right there. She's always telling me I'm too old.
You're never too old.
And like I said, you're never too old to learn how to read or to improve your reading skills. And so that's what we want to talk to you about today, because there's some new things that are coming down the pike in terms of curriculum and how children are actually learning to read and engaging in the whole reading process. Gregory, do you remember how you learned to read?
I don't really. I just read.
What about you, Vanessa?
I'm not really positive. I just went to school and they taught me.
Are you sure they taught you? You sure you didn't know before you went to school?
I did. My parents helped me and also my grandma.
Okay. So, Ms. Emma, how do young people learn to read?
You know, the average person does not know how they learn to read. I don't know how I learned to read. But when I look back now and I look at the materials that I had, they were the Dick and Jane books.
Okay.
And I went through those books. I still have some of them.
Oh, okay.
I went back through those books and I found that many of the words that are in there are sight words, and they are the beginning sight words. The first ones we call a pre-primer. They are the ones that you're supposed to have your children reading by the time they are 4 years old. You start them as soon as they can talk. Hold them up in front of them, say them, and it's said that the child only has to hear things 35 times before they know it, but that's not true. Children learn it much quicker than that.
I don't know about that, because sometimes when I'm teaching in high school, I have to repeat myself more than 35 times. And I'm like, do you still not get what I'm talking about? And no, they do not.
Well, maybe they just tuning you out.
Okay.
Well, I think too that they have heard what you said, but they don't begin to listen until after you have said it a few times. It's the difference between hearing and listening.
That's true, but
I
you
agree.
know how Mama, she wasn't about repeating herself. She said to you one time, you got one time.
What are some examples of sight words?
For the pre-primer level, they have them at all levels, and you're supposed to start with the pre-primer level, which is the words that a child's supposed to know by the time he's 4 years old. You can, start them with the words when they're 2, when they're able to talk. You can start them with those words, and some examples are a, and, away, big, blue, can. It's 40 of them, and you can teach a child all 40 of them at one time. You don't have to teach one here and one there, all 40 at one time. Then when you finish with that list, you go through, like I is one, you point to I, and the child would say I. You go back and you point to can, the child knows can. Run is one, run, and play. Each one of those words is a sight word that the child learns when they are 4 years old or under.
So when you talk about the sight words and they learn the sight words, so we're just talking about they just see it and they can say it back.
Right.
But we're not talking about comprehension.
No, you're not talking about comprehension at that point.
Okay.
But when you say a sentence, I can run and play, that's comprehension at what they already know. So you're coming to the child from where he is. Every child knows how to play.
That's
They
true.
know how to run.
You're right about that. That's true. So it's like they always say in teaching, you got to meet them where they are. And
Yes.
most children like running and playing and stuff like that. Okay, good.
And like they say in athletics
Yes. What is
or in basketball, do your work early. So
Right.
I say that to mean, she said don't start at 4, start at 2.
That's right.
Do the work early, learn the sight words, and then next thing you know, AP classes.
There you
Hello.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, great.
That's true, because some of the same words that you learn at kindergarten, you're going to be using those words when you get to college. For example, the, you're going to have they, you're going to have we, what, who, when, where, why, how. You're going to have all of those things.
And those are the sight words too?
No, well, why is one,
Okay.
who is one,
Okay.
what,
I think kids
Yes.
learn that real quick. Every time,
Yes.
hey, so-and-so, what? I'm like, excuse me? What? Yes.
It doesn't matter what you need to do in reading or writing. If you ask one of those questions, you will extend what you can do. For example, I'll say, give me a sentence that has a word in it that starts with A. The child say, I have a dog. Then you can expand that sentence. And my goal is to have a child writing a sentence with 13 words, no less than 13 words. So when they get to a certain point, I said, okay, ask yourself why. Ask yourself who you went to the store with. Ask yourself when you went to the store. Insert that word. And they are amazed at how they can do it.
Wow.
And then with writing a sentence, normally when I get children to write a sentence, I say, you know your ABCs, right? I go by this philosophy that everything that you have learned, you learned in kindergarten, and
Yes.
that's a book. So I'll say, give me a sentence that starts with the word that has a word start with a B. I saw a boy. All the way from A to Z, they can do it. They
Oh.
can do it.
So
Yes,
give me a sentence with a word from A. Give me a sentence with a word from B, C, D, so on.
all the
Did
way.
you do all that?
All
You
the
did
way.
that?
Give me a sentence with a word from pick a word.
With a letter Z.
I don't play the xylophone.
That starts with an X.
What about the animal?
What's the
The
zebra?
animal.
I don't play with zebras
Beautiful.
from the zoo.
Now,
Oh, look at you.
now, add a noun to it, but you got to back up. Tell me something about the zebra. Black and white zebra. That describes him, right? That's the
big
adjective.
white and black zebra.
That's right. So she's extended that sentence with 2 words, with 2 adjectives. Okay? Then I can ask her another question. She can extend that. Why don't you like zebras?
I don't like white and black zebras because they are too feisty.
When? All the time? Or
After dinner.
after dinner?
After dinner.
You see?
Let's get her.
See how she's extended that one sentence using a Z. She started out with just a few words and she extended it all the way.
Give us a sentence with the letter W.
I went to the zoo and saw a walrus.
What the walrus look like?
The walrus was fat.
That's 2 sentences.
You got to
Yeah,
make it
your
in the
one
same
sentence.
Oh,
Go
okay.
back and describe, when you get ready to do the adjective, you have the noun, which is walrus, right?
Right.
Back it up.
About zoo.
Okay.
Back it up. Tell me what kind of walrus you saw.
I went, I went to the zoo and saw a fat walrus.
When?
I went to the zoo and saw a
Yesterday.
yesterday I went to the zoo and saw a fat walrus. So you got to put the when in the beginning.
No, you don't change your sentence. Just put a word in there.
Oh.
I went to the zoo yesterday and saw a fat walrus. Okay.
Next.
Where you said the zoo, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. Why? Because
I went to the zoo yesterday and saw a fat walrus because I saw a documentary on National Geographic.
beautiful. You see how many words you put in that one sentence?
That's a real sentence.
That's a real sentence. And all you did was add certain things, and you were asking yourself the questions. You can ask and answer anything in the world with any of those questions. You can extend a sentence to 25 or 30 words.
And by doing this also helps with the whole reading thing. Like by doing this, and helps with, just the developing of
Right.
sentences of words,
Right.
sentences using their vocabulary.
Now, another thing I noticed with your sentences, almost everybody started a sentence with I.
Okay.
That is very typical of what children do. If out of 26 sentences, they probably have 15 or 20 of them that start with I. But it's okay.
Okay.
You go back now and let's change the I and use a pronoun. He, she,
We,
we,
they.
right.
Oh, look at you.
And that's all you have to do.
all right.
That's
And so you were talking about there's creative ways of teaching them about parts of speech.
Yes.
And you've actually come up with a rap about that?
Right. Now I didn't develop the poem. The poem is by an unknown author.
Mm-hmm.
But I have put it to rap, and I say nouns, name, people, places, things as Smith, New York, potatoes, wings. Pronouns are used in place of nouns. I think, she sings, they frown, he wins. Did you notice the intonation?
Yes.
The intonations are the ones that tell you which parts of speech. When I say Smith,
Mm-hmm.
that's a proper noun.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say potatoes and wings, those are common nouns. So I've introduced the proper and the common nouns.
Okay.
And then when I did the pronouns, when I said I,
Mhm.
all of the words I said were pronouns. I, he, they, we. She
Oh.
sings.
Good. I don't even know if I could remember the parts of speech that was so so long ago.
And so if you have a group of kids in a classroom, 8 parts of speech, you divide them into 8 groups, and one group only has to say their part, and the other group will say their part, and then at the end, everybody comes back and say them. So it means everybody has said the 8 parts of speech. And when you have a program, you started at the beginning, they can easily do it.
Did you know there was 8 parts of speech?
That wasn't my strong suit. That wasn't but I know everybody's rapping now, so I mean everybody is rapping.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you rap?
Comes out once in a while,
You
but
spit a little bit.
once in a while, just not right now.
You got anything in your back pocket? You got a verse? All right.
No, but you teach. You were. We spoke earlier off where you were talking about how they would rap the ABCs.
Yes. Well, we're talking about creative curriculum because I think that's what they put into the school system this year.
Mm-hmm.
But now with the ABCs, with the rap, you say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. V, W, X, Y, Z. And they can move to it. You can have them be created by moving. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way.
You hit the wall with it.
And another creative.
D, E, F, G.
Oh, she was
Yes.
doing it. Do it again.
Yes, see, she learned it in just
A,
one.
B, C, D, E, F, G,
Mm-hmm.
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V,
S to U.
X, Y, Z.
V, W,
X, Y, Z. See,
V,
one
W.
time.
X, Y, Z.
Yeah, see how creative? It
Yeah,
just
man.
opens up everything for creativity. When kids, when they go up the hall now, they put bubbles and hands behind their back, right? Creative way to do it is you're walking and you're holding this sign. You say, I'm going upstairs to eat. My sound is ah, ah. My sound is b, b. My sound is k, You can do it all the way from A to Z. And I can guarantee you, before they get upstairs to the cafeteria, they would have said it at least 4 times. So you hold it up high. Then after they have learned it, you have a student hold it up. And they can do it, and they whisper it, because you're supposed to be quiet in the hallway. You say, I'm going upstairs to eat. My sound is
At our school, there are no people quiet in the hallway. People are loud. They on their phone. It's like, it's
well,
too much.
you know, you can use the phone for creativity also. For example,
Oh, good Lord.
when we are doing well, I don't think the kids can do it, but the teachers can use their phones to do it. When they are walking down the hall, for example, this is National Hispanic Heritage Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
You turn on some music that's Hispanic, and you let them listen to it when they are going back to their room. And they go up and down the hall at least 2 or 3 times. They go for lunch, come back. They go for classes, come back. So you can have them do it. It's another way to utilize the time in the hallway instead of saying, be quiet, let's be quiet. And with the upper grades, with the parts of speech, they can easily do that. And you can have them develop their own rap. They will do it and have them do a presentation in class. It gives them an opportunity for public speaking and everything. And the same thing with the Black History programs. You have a child go on and say something with public speaking. They can do it in 1 minute, 60 seconds in it. That's all you need. And they come back to the classroom. They get the accolades from their peers, and they get a chance to do public speaking. It puts them in a position to be cameramen, anchors. It prepares them at an early age. So there's a lot of things that we can do for creativity.
Yeah, but it really, as I'm listening to it, it all really comes back to being able to read, and it
Yes.
comes to being able to deal with those sight words.
Yes.
To deal with those sight words. And if you don't get those fundamentals in the beginning, then it just throws everything off.
And writers are required to use certain words for certain grade levels. When they have the reading books for certain levels, those sight words that they learn at pre-primer are there. The ones that they learn at primer, first, second, and third. And you don't really have to wait until they're the 3rd grade to learn those words. Those kids can learn those words within 1 year.
Okay. So
Yes.
it's not until you don't have to wait until they get to that grade. You can start it
No.
immediately and get it done.
No,
get
just
it
think
early.
how quickly you can say 40 words. A, and away, big. And if you have a repeat, they say A, and, they love that. B, can, come.
Mm.
And then you say it 5 times, they say A. They come up with all kind of creative ways to do it, and they get through it before you really realize that you've done 40 words.
Really? Oh, I
Yes.
didn't. Who knew that learning how to read could be so fun?
It's so much fun.
Did you, Gregory?
Well, no, I didn't think it was fun. But we're gonna use that transition. So like you said, transition in the hallways instead of being quiet. And instead of on that drive to school, instead of letting her get on her phone and do things, I think we can do similar exercises in that commute to school
Yes.
to utilize that time like you utilize the time in the hallway.
I used to utilize my commute time to sleep when Daddy
Yeah,
used to drive me
no
up.
sleeping. Give us a sentence starting with the letter F.
Sally went to the football game yesterday.
Give me a sentence starting with the letter L. Not starting with the letter L.
Larry went to the lacrosse game a few weeks ago.
Okay, so
extend the
now you can
sentence.
transition that to writing. You got to think it first. First of all, don't put any pencils in your hand.
But you know what? Before we put any pencil in hand or anything to paper, we are going to transition to a break, and then we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
And we're back, and we were just talking off camera, which I found very exciting, that math, if you know math, you can learn how to right. But before we get into that, because you know me, I go all over the place. We have another guest. We just been all day. People been shuffling in and out.
Yeah.
So, Gregory, you want to introduce our guest here? Our guest co-host?
Mr. DeMar Mixon, the next contestant in How Long Can You Make Your Sentence? Are you ready to play, DeMar?
Yeah.
All right. Give us a sentence with a word in it that starts with the letter D.
I like to ride dirt bikes in the dirt on Saturdays.
I think his sentence was longer than yours. You're in second place. One more try. Thought you were done, didn't you? Give me a sentence that has a word that starts with the letter, it's going to be a tough one, Q. Ooh.
I will never quit on a test
Why not? Because.
because
I will
They-
never. Start with beginning the sentence now.
it's easy.
Say the whole sentence.
I will never quit on a test because it's easy.
Good job. Good
Good
job.
job. Kudos.
Beautiful.
You're in last place, Ron.
What? You know,
He's first, Vanessa's second, you're third.
you know what? We're going to move on.
Well, I'm going to give you a sentence where if I give you this one sentence, and if you write that one sentence, you will write every alphabet. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. If you write that one sentence, you will write every alphabet. Okay?
Really?
Yes.
Great calendar.
Fact check that.
Fact check.
Somebody write that.
Fact check.
That's 26 letters in an 8-word sentence.
That's correct. This is creativity. We're in a new era. This is the most, y'all just can't imagine how exciting it is to be in a creative mode.
Gregory, do you know the math that's involved? You just said.
Yes, math is involved.
That's
Yes.
26 letters. Math. Count them. You sitting up here doing your count.
8 words, 26 letters would put an average of, come on,
8 times what?
Oh.
No. 8 times 3. Three letters per word.
8 times 3?
8 times 3 is 24.
Oh.
Nah.
And listen, I'm going to also teach you how to write your numbers from 1 to 100
How?
in 10 seconds.
How?
I'm going to teach you how to write a 0,
Mhm.
a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. Everything else repeats itself all the way up to the billions and trillions.
You're right.
It does.
You're right.
Then I say 1 to 100. I
Yes.
just taught you how to write from 1 to 100, but I only taught you 0 to 10. Everything else repeats itself.
Yeah. So actually, we can write 1 to infinity. However
That's
many,
right.
however many numbers we want. Gregory, did you know how to? Did you know all this? Did you ever put this all together?
I didn't put it all together, to be honest with you.
And you said you the smart one in the family.
I mean, I was a smart one. I am the smart one in the family. What do you mean?
And I understand you're the smart one in geometry.
Yes.
I can teach you. You can teach me geometry. If I tell you, what time is it? You say 3 o'clock. Then I say, show me geometrically. It's 10 minutes after 3. Show me geometrically. Okay.
So right here we have a right angle.
That's
We
right.
have an acute angle, and if we say we'll do a 180, and that's at what time is that? That's either 6 o'clock or 12:30.
That's right.
So you call us the 6 o'clock, what'd you call that?
A 180, 180 degree angle.
So you start from what a child already knows. They know how to dance. And then when they do these Old Town Roadhouse and all these other kind of dances, they have geometric figures with their body and everything. It's amazing. Even facial expressions. Give me a facial expression using geometry.
Straight line from my lips.
That's right.
Straight line from my lips. Straight line from my lips.
Which one is that?
Wait, which one is
What
that?
shape is that?
I don't know. What's this?
It's a right angle.
Okay.
Okay, right angles.
Okay. What's this?
Acute angles.
Okay.
Acute angles.
From
Well, it
what you-
depends if you're going with this the inside or the outside.
That's
So
right. So
it
they
depends.
can give you two versions. You can look at the same thing. I can see one thing. You can see another, but we're both right.
Right.
We're neither one of us wrong.
Exactly. Which goes to perception, which we always talk. This is like boom, mind blown. Like you never really think about these fundamentals and how they, really interact with other subjects and just how, like I said, you're learning how to tell time, but also you are learning geometry.
Yes.
Believe it or not, again, if you just take it, hey, this is a right angle, things of that nature. Remember I talked about when I teach how to shoot a basketball, I use geometry in the form of a pizza. If you have to stand here, you know, if we're standing at the free throw line, what angle?
The angle of the shooter?
No, the angle of the line that I'm standing on. What angle is that?
Oh, that's a straight angle.
Yeah.
So how many degrees?
180 degrees.
Right, exactly. So, and if I'm standing, you know, take that, and if I'm standing on the wing area, depending on where I am, I'm either in an acute angle or I'm at the right angle. I could be not at the right angle, but I could be in an acute angle, or I could be at the straight line again if I'm standing in a short corner.
Right, and it's like when the children are going upstairs for breakfast or lunch or wherever they're going to eat, you ask them to stand on a square. Everybody stands on their own square, and that means everybody has their own space.
Mm-hmm.
They soon learn what a square is.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar, you're a baseball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apply that. How would we? I'm not a baseball player, so how would I just apply in baseball? Take angles. How would you teach angles with baseball?
Oh, the best angle to shoot the hit for a home run is
Hey,
45.
thanks, DeMar.
Yeah, like what she said, the best angle is a 45-degree angle. Like if you get under the ball more, you got a better chance of getting farther and more power with a hit that will go in the outfield.
So if I hit the ball at a proper angle, meaning under it,
Mm-hmm.
below 90 degrees or
No, but if you
below
launch,
parallel,
if you launch it so that when you do, like, if you extend out and up, the angle of the ball travels at 45-degree angle.
Oh, got it.
Am I right, DeMar?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So you was that kid, always giving away answers when teachers asked a question, jumping in, huh?
Hand was raised high.
Hate that kid. As a teacher, I hate that kid. It's all right.
But that was really good. So that just shows how the sports, everything to do, math is involved. Even in writing, math is involved. You really don't know that. But I thought it was really interesting, and we are getting closer to running out of time. But you said that when you teach children how to write, you don't even put a pencil in their hand.
No.
Which I always thought, if I'm going to teach somebody how to write, I got to get the pencil in their hand.
The first thing you have to do is think it.
Okay.
You have to think about what you're going to write. Then after you think about it, then you say it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you write it, and then you read it.
Okay.
I went to the store. I'm thinking it. I just said it, didn't I? I went to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to write it. I went to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
So the steps are think it, say it, write it, read it. Think it, say it, write it, read it. Think it, say it, write it, and read it. Think it, say it, write it, and read it.
Why can't I write it while I say it?
Oh, you can do that.
Can I write it while I think it?
Oh, yes, but you're going to run out of erasers. You're going to run out of erasing because you're going to erase so many times and you're going to forget your thought. But if you've already thought it and you've said it to yourself and you read it, you write it, you write it, you write it, you read it.
Don't have to erase it.
You might not have to
read it.
You might have to erase. And if somebody wants to know how to spell it, you can write it on the board because what you're really concerned about is their thinking, not so much as their spelling. Because some kids like to know how to spell, and you can write the word on the board, and another child will come along and use that same word because they've seen it written on the board, spelled correctly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I have just enjoyed this. This has just been, just eye-opening just from learning more about the fundamentals. And what do we always say, Greg? We always talk about the fundamentals.
Always talk about the fundamentals.
Always talk about the fundamentals. But it is time for us to go, believe it or not. And I thank you, DeMar, for joining in and giving us your expertise from the baseball perspective. Okay, I hope to see you on the diamond in the big leagues later in life.
Congratulations. First place in the How Long Can I Make My Sentence contest.
Anyway, thank you, Ms. Ward, for coming back
Thank
again
you. My pleasure.
and educating us on, more of the fundamentals. Gregory, good to see you again.
Mm-hmm. Veronica, congratulations on your third place finish.
You know what? Okay, that's it. We're done. We're done. DeMar, is there anything else you want to add before we leave?
No.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Okay, he don't want to say anything. All right, well, you know what? Thank you for all of you for being on the Veronica Harris Show. Thank you out there for watching us. And next time, well, before we see you again, make sure you think it, speak it, write it, read it. Think it, speak it, write it, read it. Think it, speak it, write it, read it.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the Veronica Harris Show. Hey!